To everyone, Mr. Aman Kumar is working as an assistant manager at Upgrad campus. Before joining at Upgrad, he has worked in HP Private Limited organization at Noida and GNA organization for more than 6 years. Mr. Aman has obtained his master's degree in computer applications with distinction from Punjab Technical University. He also obtained his bachelor degree from GNTU Amritsar in the year 2010. Mr. Aman has a wide domain expertise in the field of Java, Spring Boot, database management, and machine learning, having an overall experience of more than 10 plus years in academia and industry. Apart from this, Mr. Aman has a capability to handle the smooth running of business. Mr. Aman has developed his interest in delivering the project related to web development and having clients from UK, USA, Canada, and Portugal. So without further ado, sir, we're all interested as to what you're going to share with us, and we're all open to everything, sir. So we can begin with the session, sir.
Yes, very good morning, all. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to explain about how we can develop a model from strategy to implementation. And in this presentation, actually, I'm just going to show you basic model. That means how we can develop a machine learning model, and through which we can just take that that file, basically that pickle file, how we can deploy it to a um, uh, to mobile application. He has just explained me about myself. Basically, I'm just going to explain you what exactly I'm doing, basically in which organization, and what exact my client tie-ups are. Basically, I have worked with reputed organization. That means these are my clients: Zero AI, ADS, GNA University, Royal Homestay, the Vision Studio, the Golder Association Australia, Sky Blue. That is same same like a mobile brand in Europe. I have built this whole brand and the future view. I have worked around, you can say, 150 plus live project, and these are some of my client, basically. And I have worked with all these clients, and I have worked around, you can say, 7 plus countries, and plus we have around we have a representative in all over the countries, like 7 plus basically countries: Canada, US, Australia. And I always expect one thing, and clients are actually always a top priority for me, which means what the client is expecting from me, that is most important for me. And even let us suppose, when we do any kind of commitment, let see, one commitment I have commit for 2 day session. It does not matter what exactly the going on is, the commitment should be prioritized. Same wise, our clients are basically should be on a top priority. And I have worked with other organization as well. I have worked with the City Group office as well. And what exactly we are serving, basically all type of business, basically. Nowadays AI is in a booming, basically. And actually our service is basic aim is not to just understand what exactly the organizations are doing. That means our aim is to make it profitable and make it more standable organization. See, the Sky Blue brand, basically we have started this brand in 2012. Now, having a 16 showroom and manufacturing company, and along with this, we have a 5-star hotel in Europe as well with this Sky Blue brand. And the Golder Association. This association, I think its association is available in around 35 plus countries. And the supplier management, that means this how actually they are managing all the supplies, that module was developed by. In this presentation, what exactly my presentation will be, Today, I've already shown you the skin problem. That will be my project. Will show you how I have developed this project, how I have created that DFDs, data flow diagram, so that you will be able to understand what exact the things I just got an idea, okay, and from that idea, I've created a data flow diagram for understanding the whole process. Discuss all the things with you so that you will have an idea, okay. Let us suppose if you have an idea how you can convert it into a data flow, and thereafter how you can deploy it with the mobile application. This thing I will cover in this session basically today. Nowadays, machine learning is taking Google Map basically is one direction to another direction, or a path which is the shortest for you. All are a part of actually a machine learning. Nowadays, mobile application does not mean just create an Android Studio, provide and see how you are going to provide an to that destination. Let us suppose if I want to travel from Fagwada to Ludhiana, I have a multiple way to travel from Fagwada to Ludhiana, but I just want to be find a shortest way and should have a minimal traffic. This kind of prediction nowadays our applications are doing. Even we do have if you are familiar with the Apple mobile phone, we do have a facial match. Facial match means the image recognition. See, this is the mobile application. That means all application we are using in mobile are the mobile application. These are actually developed using Java or Swift. But all are going to be connected with machine learning for taking a decision nowadays. See, what I can say is machine learning is nowadays at the heart of transformation in every field. Let us suppose in machine learning, data science, analytics, big data. Because nowadays we do have a lot of data, but we do not have an idea how we can analyze the data. This analytics process, that insights, what exactly we are creating in the in a EDA, and these insights are more beneficial basically. And thereafter the creation of insight, we do have a different algorithmic techniques. With the help of algorithm we can just obtain accuracy, okay. That means I am just going to apply this linear model getting this 85 percentage of accuracy, let us suppose. Our motive is to increase the accuracy, our motive is to predict the things. That means the ML models are basically designed. Let us see in the next slide so that you will be able to understand. Or actually the algorithms are basically these are designed for making a prediction, but that prediction are always based on inputs. In this diagram you are able to understand this thing, okay. Let us suppose we have a keys and value, that means a data input, and thereafter nowadays we in IT industry basically we are using PySpark, Python, PySpark, PySpark actually if you want to run, because we do have a nowadays we have a big data for handling this kind of deep learning model formation and all. We always try to apply algorithmic techniques for predicting data, but that prediction will always dependent on our inputs basically. See, you will be able to understand, okay, in upstream system getting an inputs, and thereafter we have to just create a model, and or you can say the algorithm for through which we just need to do a prediction. And these predictions are essential for business system. Let us suppose scoring system of student take an example. Let us suppose we do have a data. Take an example. We have a grading grade of student, and student is achieving more than 90 percentage of scoring. That means we do not need to assign any faculty for guiding him because that student is already doing very best. That means this kind of things, if we are predicting it with the use of algorithmic technique, with the use of model, that prediction need complete basic input and your target point. Target point means, let us suppose we have a seven column. Seven column cannot be considered as your target value. These seven columns will be your input basically, and your target. See the example I have given to you, the student. Take an example, student grade. A target is not a student grade. This is will be considered as an input, but yes, definitely a target will be, we want that student to be placed in IT industry. We want a computer student that should be placed in IT industry. Our moral should be, that means we need each and every organization nowadays, they want, let us suppose student is not good in grade, not good in implementation. We just need to guide a student. Okay, yeah, there is not only a single field. That means you just have to go to a coding part. We do have a lot of other areas as well. Cloud computing we do have. Do have DevOps. We can guide the student. Okay, if you are not very good in coding part, you can go switch your career in the field of analytics. You can switch your career in the field of, let us suppose, cloud computing or a DevOps. This kind of prediction, you need accurate data. After getting accurate data, this is just, I have taken an example of normal machine learning. But if we are talking about deep learning model, let me first need to understand what is deep learning. Am I properly audible to you all now? My voice is properly audible to you all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay, okay, just go. See, deep learning is basically, it is a kind of, you can say, subfield of machine learning, and having a successive layer in increasing order. Let me understand it in better way in this example. See, the one input we do have is the actual word. We just want to identify it with the help of CNN. What exact the image is, we just need to train it. That means having an input layer. In this input layer to output layer should have different hidden layers as well. See, the input layer, that means in deep learning model, we are not dependent on that CSV file. We are not dependent on that numerical data. We have images as an input. And in this images, it is has been clearly shown this thing. Okay, the input layer having a multiple hidden layers. With these hidden layer, we are getting a one outcome, and getting okay and see, this is an image. This one is considered as a normal input layer, and having these in hidden layer. Now here we need to apply, actual, this is a deep neural network, CNN basically, and through which we just need to do a prediction. Okay, what exact this image is, this image that we can identify it as a, okay, this is a word. And this kind of model techniques, KNN, CNN, all kind of techniques are the part of deep learning. That means if you are going to input as some normal data, that means just a normal machine learning. Deep learning means input but image. Next one is See, let us suppose you have created a model. You have a pickle file and you want this pickle file to be connected with the mobile application. For this, what exactly? See, nowadays everyone is having an idea. We have a Jupyter notebook for the creation of any machine learning model. And with this, we can create a machine learning model. We just have to and extract or whatever the model we have deployed it in a pickle file. And this pickle file, we let us suppose if we want to create a web application and want to connect my model just for getting the prediction, want to that means first task is get a pickle file. And after getting a pickle file, next task is with the help of Flask framework in PyCharm. This you just need to install a PyCharm and with the help of Flask framework, just need to write a small code for converting that pickle to this normal form. Because a Java Android application, basically Android Studio, will always work in a Java. That means either we can use Java or a Kotlin for the creation of Android application. Let us consider this thing. See in this exam. We see this. See, first task is normal model. After the creation of this model, we just need to retrieve this pickle file. And this, after getting this pickle file, we just need to create a REST API. This REST API can be developed using a Python, which means that take an example. I am saying, okay, I am going to develop a one mobile application. And whatever the prediction will be done, that will be done with my ML model. This will be a flow, which means you just need to understand first one is Java or Kotlin. This will be your choice because Android Studio, that means if you want to develop a mobile application, you need either Kotlin or Java. And ML model all are very familiar nowadays because we need this Python basically. We have to import different packages in Python for developing a ML model. Let us suppose I have developed one model. I have extracted a pickle file. This task is most important basically. Why? This task will be used for sending a response from this pickle file to Android application. And thereafter, this will also work for getting a request from the Android application. That means, let us suppose someone has just opened this Android application and input an image. I just need to predict whether it is a word or not, which means word image will be an input that we have got it from the user end, but my from my Android application. The first one is that means the front view. Front view, if you want to create it, the first thing is you have to learn the Java or a Kotlin. Why this is needed? This is needed for mobile application creation. After the creating application, now you have an idea. Okay, I can get a input as an image, but prediction will be done from this ML model, not from this Android application. You just need to connect this Android application to the machine learning model, which means you just have to create a REST API as well. This will work like as you can say intermediator between your ML model with your Android application. And take an example, you want to create a web application. You want to deploy it with the web application, which means we do have a lot of technology, backend side technology for web, for the creation of web application nowadays, PHP, .NET, even JSP. all these applications, all these technologies are used for the creation of web application. See, this will be same to same. First one is you have to create a model, ML model. After the creation of this model, extract this pickle file. After extracting this pickle file, next task is you should have a PyCharm in your in your system. In this, with the help of Flask framework, because we had to have a two framework in a Python, Django and Flask. It is up to you. You can create a REST API with using Django. You can create a REST API using a Flask. But Flask, I'm recommending to you to use Flask. Why? Because it is too easy. That means all the API creation will be done on just in a single file. After the creation of this API file, you can either connect with your mobile application or connect with your web application. Now go back to the slide for a bit understanding of this. I think now it will be more clear for you with that diagram basically, which means the theoretical understanding, whatever I have written in this, that is somehow actually this diagram representation from machine learning to Android application. This is the Android architecture, and you have already studied in your classes basically. If you have built any application, this is the architecture. You just have to study it. Okay, this is the shell side, and this one is a kernel side. Means that means the first, the topmost row is always considered as the application side, and the bottom up is the kernel side, which mean, and we have different kind of, let us suppose you are want to create an mobile application, we just need to install SDK kit, software development kit. And this SDK kit, it will by default install lot of libraries as well and provide you a runtime environment. With that environment you can see, okay, this design I have just created, what will be the actual view, that you can see it in the emulator. And having a different framework support as well, content support, window manager support, telephony support, package manager support, activity support, all are the part of this second row application frame. See, when you want to create any of the Android application, your first task is always to create an activity and layout. See, I have just going to show you. Let us suppose I just want to take or accept input from the user end. Let us suppose email ID, I just want to take it from the user end from my Android application. This first screen, that means in web application we always say web page. One of the participant has sent me a message on a chat. Sir, can you please tell me that what ethical consideration should be kept in mind when developing and deploying a machine learning model in a real world scenario? See, the first one, the most important one is, you have let us suppose you have created a one more model. I'm just taking an example of weather API. Take an example. You just have created a one model just for predicting a weather forecast. And see, that model does not mean that you just have created it. You can directly connect with this mobile application. The most important thing is, have you heard the word Heroku, the hosting provider? Just a second, I'm going to show you the application. See, this is a web application basically providing. This is the application for storing your model basically. Take an example. If you have created a model, that taking an example of weather API. I have already shown you in my presentation. That means the first task is model. And thereafter, let us suppose you want to connect this model. Let us suppose you want to connect this model with mobile application. That does not mean that model should be in your system. If that model is in your local machine, which means that that model cannot respond to developed mobile application. You just need to deploy it. See, in this, when you are going to deploy it, you just have to follow the basic rules and basic formalities as well. Take an example. I have already deployed many models in this Heroku basically. At last, I'll show you how actually what exact the commands and is exact the consideration you need to follow to deploy your model in the to the client to the cloud side basically. Because if you are going to save your model in a local side only, which means that this will only respond for your machine only. But take an example, you have created a weather API and weather application, you just want to do a forecasting or a kind of a prediction that not to be done with from your system, that will be done but from for all over the world. That means we need to deploy this model to the hosting provider. This is the hosting provider. This I have shown you this Heroku basically. This is the cloud application platform in which whatever the model you have created, that pickle file you can deploy it. After deploying, it will respond you in a form of Jeff. See, after deploying, it will respond you in form of Jest. That means pickle Flask API. Flask API, whatever the API you are going to create now, this API you have to put it in a cloud platform. And this API will be responsible for generating, getting a response and providing getting whatever the request from the Android will come to this application programming interface, and whatever the response will be, that will be shown on this mobile application. See, normal first one is you have, and for creation of any mobile application, or we always say web page. Web page mean this web page mean, let us suppose if you want to create a website is a collection of web pages. But when you are going to create an Android application, we have to create activities and layout file. Activities mean your code file, and layouts mean XML file. XML, just going to show you in this so that see this. This, take an example, when you just take a new new application in Android, this is the structure basically. SRC. That means your source code will be in your SRC folder, and whatever the code is auto generated. Because when you just want to create a new application, Android application, some of the code are auto generated. Like that codes are sometimes known as Lombok. Lomboks are nothing. This is the kind of getter and setter. You do not need to write a code. It will be by default generated. And thereafter, this portion is most important. RES folder. This folder. Like whatever the design you are going to create, na UI layout. UI layout means the user interface. This interface. Hello world and all this interface, that means you can create it with the help of this main.xml file. And staying constant are most important. Staying constant are nothing. This is a kind of global declaration. Let us suppose the color scheme should be unique for whole application. And this color scheme, if we want to define this color scheme, we need to define it in this things.xml and configuration. See, whenever we are going to install any application, taking an example of MySQL Workbench, when you install it, the important task is product configuration. In a similar way, when you are going to develop any mobile application, the first task is configuration. That means the Maven dependency, the Gradle, whatever the Gradle Maven dependency you are using, that all are written in this XML. See, let us go back to this diagram again. See, the first thing we have just understand it. Okay, what is the deep learning? In this, I'm going to explain you. Okay, if you want to create a mobile application, this is important to understand the structure first. If you have a better understanding of structure, you can easily handle all the things. Let us suppose if I want to generate a layout, that means layout means this folder, which is a part of res folder. And at asset mean, let us suppose if I want to add an image in my mobile application, can store an image in this asset folder. And the all the source code will be a part of this SRs. Means in mobile application we do not have a web page, we have activity. And by default, when you just create a new mobile application, when you just click it on new, by default the first activity will be there. That activity name is main activity. And the layouts, basically the first layout will be by default generated, the this one. This layout is known as activity underscore main.xml. See, now you are able to understand this thing. First task is to, you should have an idea. And after getting an idea, develop a model. After developing a model, next task is to generate a REST API. Or what we can do is this, you just need to deploy this model to the cloud application server. Why it is needed? Because that cloud application will generate a response in a form of JSON, can accept a response in a form of JSON, which means Android application will work like as a view, and whatever the view and as your backend, basically the prediction will be done not from your local machine, which means, let us suppose you have created with using Jupyter notebook or a Google Colab the model. That does not mean you just have created a model and extracted a pixel file and you are saying I can just connect it with my local machine. Local, you just need a server host. Why it is needed? Because server host is essential for accepting the request and giving a response back to either mobile application or a web application. Here I am talking about Android application. Mobile. See, take an example. I am just going to explain you my own project. Skin diseases. I have just created one application, mobile application, and deploy, and thereafter I have deployed it on the one of the participant has sent a message on a chat box. What factors should we consider when we selecting a problem to solve with machine learning? So I can explain you with my experience basically. See, the skin disease problem basically, I have how I have identified this. We are living in Punjab. Punjab mean many of the people are nowadays for thinking about okay going to going for Canada for a further study. What exactly I have seen this thing in all the actually the person who is just coming from Punjab to say Canada, there will be a definitely a weather change in that weather change, and there will be a weather change, but that person will not be able to cure his skin. See how I have identified this problem and created a mobile application. First one is I have identified lot of students, lot of youngster are just moving from in Punjab to Canada, and they are not able to cure their skin diseases. The reason behind is they do not have a time and they do not have an idea how they can approach to a doctor. Even they do not able to find out the specialized doctor in Canada for curing this kind of things. Let us suppose if they are having a chronic disease, that means they have to pay more attention on, okay, if they have a chronic, let us suppose if they don't have any chronic non-chronic disease, which means that can be cured with the help of product. They do not need to spend much amount, and even they do not have a much time to visit a doctor. That thing, that according to that things, I have just created this skin disease application. See, in this, the problem, if I'm going to statement, see, basically, one of the most and common expensive issue basically in a form of this is this skin problem. That means this dermatology and huge money basically, na? That means 3.5 billion industry this is. Basically, I'm just showing you. See, 1 million dollar industry. That means 3.5 percentage in Canada basically. Revenue of around 1 billion, and no one is thinking about, everyone is just thinking according to the traditional approach. Nowadays we do have mobile net model, we do have Android application, we have understanding of technical things. We we just need to analyze the input. This is the skin disease problem. Skin disease problem means having a lot of category, which means the input data will be images. Input data will be an images, and will input data will be an images, and these according to these images we just need to train their machine. Let us suppose if machine found any same pattern, that means this is somehow a kind of a chronic disease. If not finding any pattern, it is will be considered as a non-chronic disease. If it is non-chronic, can be cured, can be cured with the help of different products. We see the significance of study. What I have explained is the skin treatment market is actually to be expected to be grow annually by 3.5 percentage of in Canada only. That means $1 billion revenue. And let us suppose if we are going to effectively apply data learning model on the for a, on the on on the given inputs, and come up with the technical outcome. Okay, this is the chronic, this one is non-chronic, and which mean that which mean that the migrants basically, we we can provide a one initial step, we can provide a one initial initiate. That means they do not have too much worried about this kind of disease. And let us suppose if any problem occur, they can approach to a specialized doctor with my application. They do not need too much worried about, I just we have to find out the specialized doctor. This application will definitely suggest him. The first one will be the prediction. First is prediction. Okay, chronic, suggesting a doctor. If you are going to click here, I am going to share your detail and you can set an appointment from this application. If it is non-chronic, That application should have an ability to recommend a product. Recommendation of product mean will show all the product list as a showcase. After that, if person is interested, that mean can buy a product from that application. The moral is basically that means all are just thinking from migrating from Punjab to Canada, but they do not have a much time. They don't have a much time because student are doing study as well as job in Canada basically, and th- everyone having an idea nowadays. Study means lot of assignments. Study means examination. That means they are spending a lot of time during their study, and they are also spending a time in a for doing a work because for managing their finance as well. Mm, See, same model, same technique I have explained to you. Input in this time, input will be an images right now. Thereafter model. After that, applying a model, the same. I have generated a Flask API and put it in Heroku, and thereafter got a response. Whatever the response I was getting, I have just connected that response to my application. See, this was my objective, that I have to think about, okay, what exactly I want to see. Everyone want beautiful skin and want to be more healthy, and even girls are more curious. And I just want to create a one mobile application which will offer them a variety of solution. And these solution basically reduce their skin issues. That means I am going to create, I have my objective was to just develop an application, and this application will be beneficial for reducing the prevalence of skin issues. Eh, See, the model I have followed, the CNN plus KNN, going to explain you this DFD so that you will be able to understand how actually got an idea from migrating from India, Punjab, basically from Punjab to Canada, and thereafter got an idea. Okay, yeah, I just have to create an application. I just need to apply a prediction on this. See the the first idea I have obtained, and thereafter created my own objective. Okay, this will be my application. Will be my objective, and all the decision I will take it. All the chronic and non-chronic prediction I will take it from my deep learning model. Thereafter, for better understanding of this, I have created data flow diagram. That means doctor. See, I have not given a registration access to doctor. I will add doctor detail from my admin panel. Why? The reason is because I have already said one word, specialized doctor. That means I just want to confirm that doctor should be specialized. For taking a guarantee of this thing, I have not given a registration access, which means admin is responsible for registering a doctor. See, the doctor screen, that means this activity. In this doctor screen, the navigation bars are view patient, prescription, and settings. Settings mean normal profile detail. A doctor can update username, password, email ID. Let us suppose what this kind of things the doctor can. See, the view patient. Patient are a user basically. Let us suppose one user has input an image. After inputting that image, user is saying, okay, I have a chronic disease. I just want to set an appointment with this doctor. When that user is going to click it on that button, after clicking on this button, that detail will be shown here. Prescription mean now. That means doctor will see, okay, this is an first month image, and this is the first month image. Doctor will prescribe a medicines, or that means will even can send a message to that patient. That means that first patient has to visit his clinic. All will be done with the help of a single application. See, the image processing, the most important, the model. First one was my thought process. Thought process mean getting an idea. Okay, I just have to develop a one application. After getting an idea, next one was need to understand the data flow. First one, I have created a data flow model for my doctor. Second one was for image process. Already said, images will be our data. That data, that means images will be our inputs. See, if the images will be an inputs, that means user is also going to add an image. That means user will take a photograph and will add an image. Now we have to extract the feature. After extracting the feature, the classifying, predict. We have to predict it. Prediction will be chronic or non-chronic. If it is chronic, consult a doctor. If it is non-chronic, product catalog will be shown. See, simple image processing, simple data, simple flow diagram I have just created is just for my understanding. Thereafter, I just need to understand, okay, what exactly will be the product partner data. Product partner. Product partner, I have given them a right to register it. Product partner can register it. After the registration, they have a login. After the login, they have to create a showcase. That means they have to create a showcase. Okay, this product is useful for curing this problem and will be able to see the product, that means that has been sold, will be able to see that list as. My next task is most important task of, that means in my application the first stakeholder is doctor because specialized course. Second, second one is, this is the model. Second one are is the product partner, user DFD, and the last, the most precious is admin DFD. See, user DFD. See, actually, planning is essential in every walk of life. That means whatever you are thinking is, na, you just need to plan the things. And for after planning the things, that means, let us suppose if you have done analysis, I have already done a complete analysis. This is a $1 billion industry, and I just have to develop a model. I will after developing a model, I will deploy it with my application. Now the next task was to just see this user in what exactly I'm going to do in this user interface. First one is the welcome screen. User can register, and after the registration should have a login access, same like a product partner. And in this home screen, one navigation bar I have created is for diagnose. Diagnose means user is going to add skin image. This skin image will be redirected to my model, and this model will provide me a prediction either chronic or non-chronic, and all is based on actually my input, because I have already trained my machine. I already trained my machine with per- actually in skin diseases. We have a lot of categories. I have just covered only five categories because you cannot train a model for all categories. It will take actually for doing all the things. I have spent around, you can say, 4 to 5 months for doing all my tasks, for completing whole my task, from starting it from scratch. That means starting it from understanding of idea, and thereafter deployed that idea to my cloud application, and after getting a response, develop mobile application as well. All the things basically, but it has taken a lot of time. See, diagnose is user is going to add a skin image. After adding skin image, model is responsible for replying me this is chronic or non-chronic. This JSON string, JSONify, actually JSONify with the YesNify, I can decrypt it. Okay, this is non-chronic with the help of, that means, string dot equal. This is the Java method basically for, and that means string dot equal. Even we can use string equal ignore case. With this, we can match a literal. If literal is chronic, which means I will display a doctor list. If it is non-chronic, going to show the product account and recommended products basically. See, product catalog mean non-chronic. Now it is up to the user. If user want to buy, can buy it from my product catalog. And this home screen is recommended product. Recommended product mean, that means for, let us suppose, normal skin problems. Na, they have we have added some of the recommended products just for sh- showing for keeping an interest for the user basically. Setting mean user can update the password and all this kind of thing. See, after understanding my whole product intro, objective, and significance of study, I have created data for proper understanding. Now I have got an idea. Okay, yeah, this project will be definitely a boom in industry, and this project will be definitely a beneficial for my industry. Now the next task is, I've just shown you the software basically, what exact the software I have used for developing my application. Android Studio for creation of mobile application used Java because I am international certified programmer having a specialization in Java. And that's why I have chosen a Java. If you are very good in Kotlin, can use Kotlin as well. Thereafter, XML essential for the creation of layout, Python, PyCharm basically for REST API. IDE important. Why? For you can say for accessing Jupyter node. And this one is also important. Postman for checking it out whether we are getting a get response or a get post put, and let us suppose these are the method of form elements. We can check it out manually with the help of Postman. This is the application just for checking it from the local host, because we cannot directly deploy it on a server host. First we need to check a response and request from the local machine. For checking the response and request from the local machine, we have to install Postman, Jupyter Notebook, and Exam Server. Exam Server, the reason behind is for using Exam Server is for accessing PHP MySQL, or you can say PHP MyAdmin. The same steps I have followed, and the methodology. not going to much explain you about this technology. This is a part of software engineering. And see, requirement already knows these things, requirement, thereafter planning and different sprints. This one is most important. Scrum framework. Sprint one, two, three. Because I cannot consider a first copy or a first version as my actual. This will be a kind of a prototype for me, which means the blueprints basically. For this creation of blueprint, we do have a lot of application. I use the one web application just for my creation of blueprint, that is Figma. After the creating this prototype model, we'll always switch to a sprint 2. Sprint 2 means actual applications design, somehow design. These are not considered to be the final design. Yes, will definitely provide you an actual view. Okay, this will be a real view of my application, so that I will be able to connect with my client, so that I will be able to respond to my client. So this is the task we have already done, and any recommendation or any change is needed in a color scheme, that person can easily respond us, that person is easily guide us. And this sprint one will be a first version, that means will be uh, the first version that we can deploy it, and we can get a suggestion from the client end with the help of testing. Other than this, what we can do is we can use this with the help of stakeholder count as well. Stakeholder means first create an admin, thereafter in a sprint to connect the interview to a doctor, at last add admin doctor to the user application. See, blueprint basically. Whatever my thought was, I have understood all the things with data flow, and thereafter a team has developed a blueprint. Blueprints are nothing. This is the visual representation. That means whatever you have shown in the diagrammatic representation, you just need to create a blueprint for visualizing all this, setting option and all. And thereafter, next task was, see, this is just a first sprint. I am just going to show you why, because this is my live project. Cannot show you all the things basically. We have still we are the actually the project has been completed and has been developed, but for because my client has just restricted me to show some of the things, basically a kind of a blueprints and just a first version, just that's why just going to show you, so that you also will be able to understand how actually we can, that means strategy to real implementation. That let us suppose if you have an idea, this is your strategy, that means starting of journey. And in this starting of journey, do you have a lot of phases. I'm just showing you each and every phase, so that you also will be able to become an entrepreneur. You will also will be able to convert your idea to actual implementation. See, the blueprint means whatever the diagram representation is, just convert it into a actual representation. And thereafter, see the main layout mean that is mobile screen. The first one, Earth's team has just created a user dashboard. User dashboard means should have a product showcase and should have a navigation option as well. See, these are the now the navigation option should have home, diagnose, recommended product, and settings. Why? Because this DFD is already having these options: home, diagnose, recommended products, and setting. And same way, we have created a navigation: home, diagnose, recommended product, and settings. Obvious, for maintaining a session should have a logout option. That means just when person just going to click it on this logout option, which mean that a session need to be destroyed. That means we have to destroy the session, and person has to just person, if the person want to again sign in, need to fill a detail, or if that person has already saved the credentials, then can log in. No? Setting means the user detail. See, thereafter admin. See, this is most important basically. This is the primary stakeholder for us. Admin mean should have all the right. Admin mean will be able to see the doctor detail, will be able to add doctor, will be able to modify user detail, will be able to send a feedback, will be able to get a feedback from the users as well. And the most important thing is how the actual admin is going to take an advantage of this. See, product partner. I have always used product partner word. Why? Because I am getting 20 percentage of benefit from each product. Let us suppose price is 20. So let us suppose price is 100. That means by default 20 percentage will be included in that price, which means user will see 120. This benefit I can see it in this admin panel. Let us suppose a user or the patient has just bought a one product. Let us suppose one product. See, whenever you are going to create an application, already showing this thing, this is a $1 billion industry and deployment, mm, idea to implementation, and thereafter make a lot of changes. This is not a final design. The final design is totally a professional design. See, I need a proper financial, I need to have a proper financial management. I need to pay for my employee as well. That means I should have to set a benefit from this application. See, this benefit I have set it in my application is, which is around 20 percentage from my product. I have not, see, I have given a one benefit that person not need to worry, not need to have to wait for doctor appointment. That means, and one thing I'm just providing them a showcase. That means don't they, that person has to not worried about, okay, which product is should be recommended for this problem. My application will suggest all the product recommendation, but obvious the benefit is from this application. From each product I will get at least a 20 percentage of that. I've just shown you the actually the database. Basically databases I have used MySQL, PHP, MyAdmin for storing my whole data. See, first one was, see, the objective. I have realigned my objective because I have used KNN classification basically for overcoming this existing disadvantage. Basically applied a lot of model, but finally I have concluded, okay, I will go with this KNN, and will definitely, because lot of people are having a unhealthy eating habit, and which here directly linked to an increase of, you can say, risk of having a skin disease. This is my first step. That means a human physical activities basically. That means, let us suppose a person is eating a healthy, having ha- having a risk of skin diseases, but definitely if person is going to use my application, will be able to at least cure the skin, will be able to at least have an idea what exactly the problem in skin. See, this image process flow I have followed. Sample pre-processing, data partition, feature extraction, at last the outcome result. I haven't used a Jupyter notebook. Actually, my team has used Colab for implementation of this. We have used CV2, GLOB, random, and different kind of libraries for detecting skin diseases. See, same thing I have followed in my application. This model deployment basically, see, this is the data set actually. These are not input basically. This is not a, you can say, numerical formation. These are actual skin images. We have just taken this data set and tried to cover five categories only, not having all skin disease categories. I have covered only the five categories. And this is the way actually I have just created my whole application. And if you have a much spare time, I can show you my application because that application is not available in my this system. That application is available in my another system. And that's in from my side basically. If you have any query, please let me know. We'll guide you according to that. And thanks for your patience. And if you have any query, just let me know. We'll explain you that. Can put it in this chat box.
So, students, if you have any questions, you can just drop in the chat box.
Actually, sir, if we have a big, let us suppose if we have a big data, I recommend you to use Cloudera for handling the big data. And if you are, if you have a deep learning and big data, both we want to handle it because Java is a distributed programming language, and I recommend a PySpark basically for developing this machine learning for a Python with Apache Spark.
Sir, are you there?
Hello, yes, yes, sir.
Sir, there is a question there.
Okay, what are the some common challenges you have encountered during the transition from prototype to the production ready system? Actually, the first challenge basically is, see, let us suppose if we do have a better prototype, na, the first challenge is basically actually the first thing, let us suppose I have an idea. The transition from my prototype to the actual implementation, we just need to understand actually the cloud application understanding. Have you heard a word Docker? Because Docker, you just need to understand what is a Kubernetes. Kubernetes, why Kubernetes are important? This will work like as a cluster. I already said this thing. Okay, you just have to deploy it in a cloud application. Does not mean that cloud application sometimes, take an example of Azure. One model I have deployed it on Azure. For deploying it in Azure, you should have a better understanding of DevOps concept. You should have a proper understanding of Kubernetes, cluster implementation. See, production ready system, you always think, okay, this application is having a prediction model, but lot of hard work need to be performed. The first one is as an enterprise entrepreneur, I can explain this thing because the reason is you just not need to be have only the programming. That mean you can deploy it. The management, the second task is understanding of that DevOps concept, droplets, understanding of how actually you can create that Docker machine because they, sometimes our machines are not responding. We just need to use a virtual machine. For using this virtual machine, we just have an understanding. Okay, yaar, what will be the command? If I'm considering myself as a data science, or you can say considering myself as a full stack, which means that I do not have a much idea about what will be the Docker command. But yes, for first important thing is programming. Yes, this is your passion is already in your mind, passion is already with you, but passion does not mean directly convert it into a production. Passion means you just need to learn a lot of things. Okay, you just need a proper team, you just need a proper, that means trustworthy person, DevOps person. You need a person who is very good in Java exception handling, because you are going to handle big data. Big data means PySpark. PySpark means Hadoop. Why they have connected all this application accuracy prediction and all with the Python? Because Python is too easy nowadays. But yes, when you are working in a big data model, big data means you have to work it on a PySpark. PySpark, you just can Google it. Does PySpark need Java? Which means you need a proper team management. You need a person who is very good in Java. That means a single person cannot convert this prototype to a production. That means you need a proper team for converting this prototype model to the production ready system. But the important is everyone should have a unique ability. Each team member. Let us suppose in your team, the one person should be from data science, one person should be from DevOps, one person needed, that person should have an ability to work in a web app, because we do need a one person that should have a better understanding of Flask API. Flask is a framework that is mostly used for the creation of Python web application.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your very informative session with packed insights. So I would request the IT department to please display the award of appreciation for sir. So this is a small token from our city university. We will send it via mail as well as the original to your house. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.